Framing. Framing your artwork can be incredibly expensive. If you go to a professional framer, you can come away with quite a shock at how much you just spent. But the good news is you can save loads of money if you do it yourself, and it's not that hard. I recently sold an unframed little painting to someone at the Sussex Art Fair, and I promised them that I would send some advice about how to frame it. So this week I thought I would just make a little video to share with you how I framed this painting. So the first thing to do is order your frame. I use two suppliers mainly in the UK. The first is pictureframesexpress.co.uk and the second is easyframe.co.uk. The frame that I got for the painting I'm demonstrating on comes from Picture Frames Express. So if you go into Frame Designer over here, you can put the width and height of your picture in here. So let's say mine was 200 millimeters. And then you can pick your frame. And what I like about this website is that you can sort the frames either by price or, more usefully, by width, from say wider frames to narrow, or by rebate. And this is often the most useful feature, width and rebate. Rebate means how deep the back of the frame is. So you pick your frame and then go to the next step, and here you select a mount. If you have a watercolor, then you want a mount, and so you would probably go for a single mount and go to the next step. The widths of your mount go in here, and the minimum that you can do if you want it small is 20 millimeters. So I put that in, and you can go update, and it shows you a picture of the mount in proportion to the frame. And then next step, here you pick the color of your mount, and the color that I generally use is this soft white. It's quite a nice color. And then here you can have the option to remove glass if you don't want it. Now it's plexiglass, and this is one thing that this website only offers, this Clearview plexiglass, whereas EasyFrame, this website, has more options for what type of glass you want. So when it comes to extras, they offer clear acrylic, but they also offer anti-reflective acrylic, UV 100 acrylic, art glass acrylic. So if the glass options are important to you, then easyframe.co.uk is a good option. In this case, I'm going to keep my glass, I'm going to keep my backing board, and my frame to hang just means the little thing. If it's a small frame, it's a little potsy hanger on the back. And I don't want a stand added, but I do want a backing card, so I'll click on that. And the one I generally choose is Conservation. The price is all the same, so I probably go for that. The important thing with this website is to check and double check what your measurements are. So go into the details and make sure that everything in here is correct. Make sure that the aperture is correct and that you've allowed for the border and that the external size is correct. Then your frame arrives. Oh, happy day. The first thing to do is obviously unpack your frame and get everything ready. There you can see the mount and the picture and the backing board. It's really important to work on a clean area. So here I've just put a clean roll of plastic that I keep separately underneath the picture, so that, because you don't want dust and stuff getting in there. To attach your picture to the mount board, you need something called hinging tape, and the hinging tape needs to be acid-free. And then you attach it at the top using something called a T-hinge. Now, I should just say that this information is information that I've picked up by doing my own research on the web, and this is how I do it. If you've got a very priceless painting, then you should probably get it professionally framed. So you put your 2 pieces of acid-free hinging tape vertically down so that they're just slightly overlapping your painting at the top. You don't want too much tape touching your beautiful painting. And then you put 2 pieces of tape horizontally across like a T to create your T hinge. You leave the rest of the sides not taped. And then you take your backing board and you attach it. And for this, you need double-sided tape. So this is my double-sided tape. And you put that down the sides and stick it onto the actual mount board. So the only thing that's stuck onto the actual painting is the tiny little bit in the T-hinge at the top. Then you peel away the top part of the double-sided tape. Sometimes it's a bit tricky. And that leaves the stickiness showing through. Now my tape was wider than my mount board, so I'm just trimming it and sticking it on. Then you get your backing board. This is the museum quality backing board that I ordered. It came with the frame. And you stick it on. So now you've got your beautiful painting mounted with a backing board. In this case, that first time it didn't stick, so I had to give it another press down. So there it is, nice and tight. Then you get your frame. The first thing you have to do is add little D-rings to your frame. You can sometimes order these from the framer, or you get them from a place like B&Q or any hardware store. So you measure 1/3 of the way down the side of the frame, and you measure a little bit in from the sides, and then using a drill or just a screwdriver, you just screw in your tiny little D-rings. And then you get your glass that came with the frame. It's actually acrylic, clear plastic acrylic, but it's just as good as glass. And in fact, I think it's better than glass. It's lighter and it's less easy to break. You peel away this plastic covering, working from the 4 corners towards the middle. Try not to get finger marks onto the plastic. The coating is on both sides, so you'll need to peel it off both sides. And if you order one of these from EasyFrame that's got UV coating on one side, then you need to work out which side has the coating, and it's usually the side that's less clear than the other side. Sometimes the covering that comes is a different color as well. In this case, there's no UV coating on this one, so it's just peeling it off. Check for any dust or dirt, and if there's nothing that needs to be taken off, you just pop that into the frame. Now on this one, because the painting, there was quite a big gap between the painting and the back of the frame, I decided to add some cardboard, and this was just normal cardboard because it's not actually touching the painting. The museum backing board is what's touching the back of the painting. So this is just regular cardboard. And then in comes the MDF backing board. And then the last thing to do is to seal the back of the painting. And for this, you use some brown framing tape. You can get this from Hobbycraft or any kind of craft store. And you do this so that you don't get dust and stuff going into your painting. So you tape down all 4 sides, keeping it nice and neat. And then you tie on your cord. For this one, I only needed a single layer of cord because it's not a heavy painting. And here I'm just burning the ends of the cord so that they don't unravel. But obviously you've got to be quite careful. Don't set your whole painting on fire or your house. And that's it. Your painting is completely framed and ready to hang on your wall. So I hope that was useful. And if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.